Hi there everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Happy Friday, thanks so much for joining me today. So today I thought I would do another fireplace. So on Wednesday, if you missed it, I mentioned that I joined Anthony's papercraft design team, and I did the most beautiful card I think I've ever made in my life using a craftsman style fireplace and a and a garland. And today I thought I would use the one from Clearly Besotted. And if you remember from my haul, it has a little seat, like a chair, and then the fireplace, and then a Christmas tree. So I thought we would use that to kind of go in the exact opposite direction, where Anthony's was very classy and elegant and less whimsical. This one is definitely more whimsical. So let's head over to my craft table and we'll create a really cute card using this Clearly Besotted scene stamp. Okay, so if you want to write down the colors, just pause your video right here and you can do that. So I felt like the little engine that could with this with this card, excuse me, I'm a little out of breath because I was chasing Roxy. This is the third time I stamped this and colored this image. The first two times, I just didn't like the way it turned out. So I am taking inspiration directly from Clearly Besotted's IGTV. The whole reason I bought this stamp set was because of their IGTV. So here you can see I've already played around with this a couple of times. So I'm going to be using my Distressed Oxides and Mustard Seed and Squeezed Lemonade to add the glow. This is going to have a glow. It's going to look like, at night, maybe Christmas Eve. So yeah. So I'm using that, and then I'm going to bring in some, I think it's walnut stain. I don't know the names of these distress things, people. So the first couple of times I did this, number one, I thought I wanted gray because you guys know I don't like brown. I just felt like I couldn't get a good blend between the gray and the brown, because this brown, it has a little bit of yellow in it, right? Because yellow is our primary color. Whereas with gray, I feel like gray is more black and white. You know what I mean? You could add a little bit of warmth with some red, but it may not necessarily have yellow in it. So let's reveal the magic. Oh! So the first two times I colored this image, I followed her tutorial exactly. So what she did first is she put in the yellow, then she followed that up with her lightest color, and then she kept getting darker, darker, and darker. And when I did that, I struggled like really, really bad trying to get it the way I wanted it to be. So I decided to go darkest to lightest. And she also used red. She made her chair red. So it was a bit easier for her to blend red into orange, into yellow. And I chose blue. And in the beginning, I didn't think to use like a blue-green to blend from blue to blue-green to yellow. Or I guess I could have even added a little bit of green, like a lighter green. And I just didn't think to do that. So I didn't really necessarily love how this ended up looking initially, but at the end of it, it looked really, really good. And then I covered it up. So anyway, we'll get there in a minute. So here I brought in a light blue. This is B00, and I did that to go over the arm of the other chair because it wouldn't necessarily be yellow, but it would be lighter because it is on top. So for this one, you really kind of had to pay attention to a light source. And as I mentioned, I really struggled the first time around. So here I'm trying to think of, what can I do to help blend that into the blue. And I brought in a YR thinking that would help a little bit. And it did. It was all right. But if you really want to see how well she did this, make sure you go check out their IGTV. And even if you're not on Instagram, I think you can still watch it. And they may even have it on their website. I don't know. I haven't looked. And I don't even know if they have a YouTube channel. They're both very, very talented. I believe they're sisters. And one draws and the other colors. But don't quote me on that. So I'm continuing to go over it with the B00, and in a minute I'll bring in the BG, but I'm going back over it again, starting darkest to lightest, and then working my way up. So this video is late if you missed it. Yesterday, as we were getting me ready to go see the urologist, I did something to my knee. At first, I thought I tore my ACL. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the yellow on the left side of the tree, because this is the part of the tree that would be facing the fire. And just like the chair, this is the part of the tree that would have the glow. And then I use some YGs, starting with like a more like really, really light yellow green, moving on to the darkest to kind of give it an easier blend. And that was another thing I struggled with, was this dangum tree. And this really worked out for me, and I really liked how it turned out. So anyway, we were getting me dressed yesterday, and I turned my body, but my lower leg stayed planted, and I thought I'd torn my ACL. Like, I could barely walk. I still can't walk. I still can't put a whole lot of pressure on it. It's fine as long as I don't straighten my knee and try to walk. So I'm kind of doing this kind of hip walk thing, which is awful on my left hip, because that part of my lower back was already bothering me. So anyway, I came home after the appointment and I iced it and everything, and it felt a little bit better. So I'm doing a little bit better. There's no bruising. Someone mentioned that there would be bruising if I'd torn it, and there wasn't. For the fireplace, I am laying down the lightest color, and then I'm just adding the darker colors. I'm using all of the cool grays, Misty. I'm using a bunch of cool browns. So, and I'm just fading to like darkest on the outside and then fading into the lighter color. So woke up this morning and Rob put a lidocaine patch on the back of I really feel like I probably just strained that muscle, because it hurt like halfway down my calf and then up my hamstring. So I really think I probably just strained that muscle. So I'm, icing it, keeping it elevated. It is a little bit swollen, but not very much. My whole body is swollen. I had my rings on yesterday, and now I can even wear them today. So can you see them in this picture? Yep. Anyway, so, that happened. And then last night, as we were going to bed, or as Rob had already gone to bed, I was on Facebook and I found out that my father was killed in an accident yesterday. He was working underneath his car, and unfortunately the car fell off the jack and he was crushed, actually. Luckily, the coroner said that he died instantly, so at least he didn't suffer. So if I sound a little out of it, I'm a little out of it. It's been a rough couple of days. And what's kind of bittersweet is that this is the anniversary of Rob proposing. So in 2009, on Friday the 13th, he proposed. And the ring I'm wearing on my right hand is actually the ring that he proposed with. The ring on the left is just some cheap one I got off AliExpress, because none of my wedding rings were too big. And I was like, and this was a couple of years ago. It's like, I don't want to resize my wedding rings until I get to the weight where I'm going to be for the rest of my life, a little bit smaller. So I just bought a few of them off of AliExpress. And the reason why you see aquamarine instead of a diamond is because aquamarine is Rob's birthstone. Diamond is mine. I wanted his birthstone instead of mine. So there you can see on the left-hand side, I do have the reference pick up, and I literally just screenshotted it and blew it up as big as I could. She did a little bit different on her tree, but I kept it as simple as possible. The same way with these presents, like I didn't want, like I was like, oh, I should have made the ribbons different. I was like, you know what? I don't even want to mess around with that. This isn't the focal image anyway. These are just some presents. So yeah, so I'm all right. I think I'm still kind of numb. I spoke to my sister earlier, and we kind of cried a little bit because she's in Indiana where he was. And she was like, do you want me to live stream from the funeral? Because the funeral home is going to allow family and friends to go do a viewing, and then they're going to cremate him. And I was like, you can live stream me. I was like, but I don't think I can handle seeing him. So yeah. Anyway, I'm all right. I don't mean to bring us down in this video, but I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on for the sake of transparency, and that way you know why I may sound a little down today. Okay, as for shadowing, I didn't want to bring in gray for the shadows. I wanted to continue using brown. I didn't go dark enough at first, but I'm glad I started with the lighter color so I could take the darkest color all the way up against the items and then blend it back out with the lighter colors. And these colored fine over the oxides. I didn't have any problems. So if that's something that you've been thinking about or something you thought you might want to try and didn't, you can. So initially I was trying to use the distressed ink to blend in, and I decided to just go ahead and use my yellow. And there I'm referencing my hex chart to find the darkest brown that I have, in my collection, the coolest brown, coolest brown. to add that really depth of shading. And again, this isn't necessarily something you're going to see, but it is something that I wanted to make sure that I added. And here you can see me using that yellow, that Y11. And then I'm going to bring in kind of like a YR to blend things out. So I decided not to color in the ornaments because I was like, I don't want to mess with it. So I just brought in my Nuvo shimmer pen, and then I'm going to use my Nuvo drops. I have three different colors for the tree. I have like an aqua color, a pink color, a reddy color, and a purple color. So no, I had 4. Sorry, brain. And I just added the drops. And then this was like right before we had to get ready. Like I had to take a shower to go to the doctor. So all was well at the doctor. Had been having some issues with my bladder, but he said it's just overactive. And I'm like, okay. So he prescribed the medication and I will be okay. So the last couple of days has been just a little different. It's been a little rough, but I'll make it through it. Okay, so the next clip was this morning, actually. And I thought I was filming and I was not. So clearly my brain is not exactly where I need it to be. So what I've done is I've brought in a sheet of acetate. Now this window is one that I cut out using my silhouette. I just found this window in the silhouette store and I wanted a horizontal window. So I added a piece of acetate. And now I am popping this up using dimensional adhesive because those glitter drops are 3D. Like they stick out away from the tree, and I couldn't glue this window down flat on top of it because there was so much height. So here I'm trying to decide on some siding, and I settle on this kind of periwinkle blue from My Favorite Things. I'm still using cardstock from that Mile High card kit from months ago. And I'm using my bone folder, and I am scoring this every 1/4 inch on the long side. So on the 5.5 inch side, I'm scoring this at every 1/4 inch, and that's to make siding. So this looks like a window that's, on somebody's house that you're looking into. And I've made this layer look like siding. And Rob's like, oh, that looks like siding. And I'm like, yay, exactly what I wanted it to be. And there I added just liquid glue on the black and went back and I used those lines, thank goodness, to do that. And then I got this idea. Oh, I'm going to stamp my sentiment first. This is a really cool stamp set from Anthony's Papercraft. He asked me which ones I wanted, and I was like, I need that sentiment stamp because you guys know how I am about sentiments. I love this one. I'm going to bring in a navy color from Gina K. I don't know what color this is. I didn't look at the ink cube to find out, but I'm going to stamp this, and I'm using the Misty. You guys know it's not my preferred method, but it was right here, and I still had my stamp apparatus is full. I have like three different cards I need to clean up from my desk. Clearly my desk is a hot mess express. Okay, so now here we go. I was wondering if I wanted to add glitter onto the window panes to make it look like it had snowed. So I had an extra piece of the acetate and I just cut that out, and I had cut 2 windows. So I went ahead and glued this down, and I thought, okay, we're going to do a test run because I did not want to make the same mistake as I made with that Yeti card and go crazy. So I did that, and then I brought in the Dazzling Diamonds glitter in my Tombow Mono liquid glue, and I just tested it a little bit. And what I realized at first is like, that's not enough glue, Misty. It's like, it barely looks like anything has happened. So I went ahead and added, I brought in a paintbrush to remove the extra glitter, and then I went ahead and added more glue and added more glitter, and here's what it looks like. So your question of the day is snow or no snow? And I chose no snow because I thought it's no snow because I thought it already took away from a really sweet focal point that you know was already missing some things because of the window pane. So question of the day is snow or snow. So if you missed it, I have reopened my Etsy shop for cards. There's not a whole lot of them, in there. Thank you so much to you who bought them. I will be adding more and probably next week. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I hope to see you Monday. Have a very happy and safe weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.